How the fuck do I open this thing? Ooh! Hope the mic picked that up. It's a celebration, you bitches. Vinegar Syndrome has finally shipped to me my Black Friday box of 15 fucking movies. We're celebrating tonight because finally I'm going to have my hands on The Keep and Hundreds of Beavers limited editions. So I can tell you nerds to fucking suck it. Sell that shit on eBay for 300 bucks. Buy another bottle of this shit. Welcome, one and all. I am the movie monk, an ascetic hermit monk living in the woods. Graybush, that is my monastic name. I'm of the Benedictine order. I shave my head. I'm going to turn into a Shaolin monk. That's what I ought to be. Fucking. I think the Shaolin monks shave their pubes too, though, right? They don't just shave the top. I've never seen their dicks in a kung fu movie, but I got to keep my eyes open next time they pull their dicks out in a kung fu movie because they shave the bush too, right? Because I can't be Graybush if I say shave this thing. I got to keep my pubic hairs. Anyway, that's probably more than you wanted to hear me ever talk about my pubic hairs. So let's change the subject, okay? It's getting weird. I'm just pouring an expensive beer that had a fucking cork on it, like it was a bottle of champagne. I don't know where that cork went either. I ate half an edible and put the baby monitor in my drop freezer. So look, we're having a hell of a celebration tonight, okay? Here at Team Almy Studios, we're going buck wild because what I really want to talk to you guys about today is just how patient do you need to be, bro, for your shit on Black Friday last year. Okay, so we're talking about 2024, Black Friday, November the 29th. I ordered about 15 Vinegar Syndrome titles from their Black Friday sale. Okay, so, not a humongous order by any means, but not what I would call small either. Um, I don't know that the size of the order matters, but just to give you an idea, I spent several $100s on that order. So now a few days later, a few days after Black Friday, on December the 3rd, I believe it was, I added hundreds of beavers to that order and I combined the shipping because I'm cheap. So I made my last, I guess, Black Friday order on December the 3rd. Although it wasn't really part of the Black Friday sale, it was just the day that hundreds of beavers dropped. And I did manage to add it to my order. That date is relevant because if I'm adding something to my order on December 3rd, they couldn't have possibly shipped out my November 29th order. Anyway, I'm done with my business with Vinegar Syndrome as of December 3rd of 2024. Now, I'm recording this video and celebrating on January the 10th. This is January the 10th in my world. In the past, you might be watching this in the future on YouTube. I hope. Thank you. Obviously, as of January 10th, as I'm recording this, and like many folks that I've talked to on the internet, on Blu-rayForums.com and Boutique Blu-ray subreddit on Reddit, I have still not received my order. Right? It's shipped. I got the shipping notification, so maybe I'll see it next week. We're talking about, the 14th, the 15th, the 16th. So, by the time I see it, by the time that order actually arrives at my doorstep, I mean, it's been a minute. And a lot of other folks on the internet are telling me that they're still waiting on their Vinegar Syndrome Black Friday box as well, which is kind of weird because I was just trying to get feet pics from these fuckers. Like, I'm just trying to get foot pics from strangers. Like, why are you guys bringing up your Black Friday order from Vinegar Syndrome? Because I'm just really like, show me them tootsies. I just want the feet pics. Like, I'm just here to pound off, dog. Like, that's all I'm trying to do. That and lock my children in a refrigerator because I ate an edible. I'm not proud. Speaking of showing off the tootsies, there's the 80s broad I promised you. This actually from Terror at 10 Killer. And I know it's a drawing, but come on, you've whacked off to anime before, so this isn't that new. I think Vinegar Syndrome, as an aside, they have a lot of excellent artwork. I think a lot of their slipcovers have excellent artwork. And I think it's oftentimes artwork like this that is maybe not perfectly photorealistic, but has very realistic like proportions. And I mean, look at that. That's the reason I bought Terror at 10 Killer. It's not because it's a Vinegar Syndrome 4K for an 80s slasher that's like right in my lane. It was for the back cover. That's the reason I bought that fucking movie. I think Vinegar Syndrome needs to collect all of the artwork like this, and Don't Open Till Christmas has boobies on the front and she's getting stabbed. But it's a similar kind of art style where it's not perfectly photorealistic, but it has very realistic like proportions, and the size and shape of things is realistic and also very nice. I think that would be not the first, but it would be it would be a coffee table that I would fap to, but like definitely not the first one that I've ever fapped to. Anyway, I would buy a coffee table book full of the Vinegar Syndrome artwork because it's just nice to look at, guys. It's beautiful artwork. If you got a complaint, leave it below. So, of course, over the last several weeks, people have been complaining about their Vinegar Syndrome order. I myself have attempted to be very patient. I only mentioned it once on the last video I released here, just because I was trying to be salty and how it was just a joke, right? Like, I'm not upset or I'm not salty about it, but I was a little bit. But I tried, I'm being patient. I've ordered from Vinegar Syndrome many times myself during these sales, the Rad sale, the Black Friday sale, halfway to Black Friday sale. I mean, these sales happen 3, 4 times a year with Vinegar Syndrome, and they probably spike like an order of magnitude in their sales. Their units sold or their orders placed during these sales. So they've got 1,500 or so subscriber boxes that they send out every month, plus however many regular kind of monthly orders they get from non-subscribers like me. But then during sale months, or during sale weekends, sale weeks, weekends, during these bigger sale times, they of course spike. I mean, it's probably an order of magnitude. So one can understand that, if their normal business kind of chugs along right here, that, 3 or 4 times a year, their sales then increase tenfold. The Rad sale, the Black Friday sale would be a giant spike in their monthly boxes that they need to wind up shipping out of the warehouse. So I think everybody kind of understands, like, it is what it is, and they're essentially digging a deep hole for themselves when they have these sales, and that the prices on the films are very, very good. You're getting movies for $10, $15 for Blu-rays with slip covers. I got Terror at 10 Killer. I got that shit. I don't know. It's a Vinegar Syndrome 4K with a slip cover. I must have paid $20 for it. I can't remember what I paid for it. $20, $18. I mean, it wasn't bad at all. So, it's a good time to clean up, but at the same time, everybody else is doing that. Thousands of other people. Let's just take a look at Black Friday with the Keep, for instance. They sold 12,000 units. They sold all 12,000 units. I've mentioned that on previous videos on this channel, so I will not get sucked down into that rabbit hole. Go check those videos out if you haven't already. I've talked about the Keep a couple of times, but the fact of the matter is they sold 12,000 copies. They told us they were making 12,000. Assuming they made 12,000, they sold 12,000 in 48 hours on Black Friday weekend, the Friday and Saturday. I think that shit was gone by like Saturday night, midnight, rolling over into Sunday. I think that shit was gone. Maybe they didn't sell all 12,000 through Vinegar Syndrome because, of course, Orbit got some. I think Diabolic got some. There's probably a few retailers, Grindhouse maybe. Maybe Vinegar Syndrome sold 9,000 or 10,000 copies of the Keep because they shipped a couple thousand out to other online retailers, but they pretty much sold almost 12,000 units. Now, the limit on the Keep was 2 per order. So if you were placing an order, if you were having a box shipped to you from Vinegar Syndrome, the most you could put in was 2 copies of the Keep. So if everybody maxed out, if every single person that ordered the Keep from Vinegar Syndrome in those 2 days maxed out their 2 units of the Keep per box per order, that's still 5,000 boxes that Vinegar Syndrome would have to send out for the Keep alone. And of course, there were people who placed orders that didn't order the Keep. So on top of the 5,000 boxes, and that's at least 5,000, it's probably more like 7,500 boxes going out. That's if some people buy 2, but not everybody. Some people like me only buy 1. I only bought 1 copy of the Keep. Some people are not going to max it out. Some people are going to max it out. And then some people aren't buying the Keep at all. They probably had at least 10,000 orders placed Black Friday weekend. That's the only way they could have sold through that many units of the Keep at 2 units per order. Probably about 10,000, maybe, I don't know, 8 or 9,000, but that's in 48 hours, and that's 8,000 boxes, 9,000 boxes, maybe 10,000 boxes that they are, of course, going to have to pack full of your shit, my shit. Can't have your fucking movies. Here's your fucking shirt, loser. So I think just based on that math, it's a real shot in the dark, but we think it's at least 7,500, probably more like 10,000, 8 to 10,000 orders placed in a 48-hour period. And that's a lot, dude. That's a lot of boxes to fill. That's a lot of boxes to pack when they might not do 8,000 boxes in an entire month. We estimated this past year they had about 1,500 or so subs. So definitely 1,500 sub boxes every month, but that's a far cry from 7,500 or 8,000, 10,000. I mean, they could have had 10 times as many boxes as that. You know, normal month they send out 2,000 boxes, 2,500. They go from 2,500 to 10,000 in a month. That's 4 times a normal month for them. So look, we know they're busy, okay? And that's why I was patient, and I'd done the big sales before. I waited 4 weeks to get my shit from the Rad sale. That's for it's the Rad shirt. Anyway, I waited 4 weeks. I think I placed that order, whatever. It was Labor Day weekend, and I think the shit got to me by like the very end of September. So it was about 4 weeks. I mean, I think that the Black Friday sale definitely takes the cake. If we're looking at the day that I placed the order for The Keep and the other 14 movies, excluding Hundreds of Beavers, as of today, it's been 42 days. If we go from next week, I'm guessing it lands on the 16th, just to be fair. That's 48 days. Now, so we divide 48 by 7, and that is 6.86 weeks. That's basically, let's round that to 6.9. And what's 6.9 close to? 7. So that's about 7 weeks since I placed that order. That's a long ass time. Like I said, I got plenty of shit to watch, but even still, I have seen people online. What really kind of motivated this video for me was when I was looking at Vinegar Syndrome's Instagram. About 2 weeks ago, they put up a post. It was an image full of all of the Black Friday boxes with that Congo tape on them. It was a big pallet of them just ready to go out. And Vinegar Syndrome said something like, you know, thank you for your patience. We're sorry it's taking so long. We're planning to have all of these out by the 7th. I didn't get my shipping notice till the 10th, motherfuckers. But they said at that time, a couple weeks ago, that they were expecting to get the last of the orders shipped by January the 7th. There were a lot of comments under that photo on Instagram. And one person, understandably, in my opinion, left a comment saying, hey, what's up? Like, why is it taking so long? You know, what's the deal? They were pretty polite about the whole thing. They didn't say any cuss words. They didn't call anybody names. I mean, he was pretty calm about the whole thing, being that it had been like 6 weeks. I didn't blame the guy for being like, hey, what's the deal? What's the story? Might have been the first time he's ever ordered anything from Vinegar Syndrome. You know, the first time you do it, it's surprising when it takes 4 weeks. So anyway, what really motivated me was that somebody responded to this guy being perfectly reasonable, like, hey, kind of, where's my shit? Why is it taking so long? They told him to learn patience, which just kind of struck me as like, fuck you. It's been 6 weeks. You're telling the guy to be patient. He's being perfectly reasonable. I think the question really is, how long are you willing to wait for some shit? I mean, there's 2 types of pre-orders, right? There's joining a Kickstarter for something that doesn't exist yet, pre-ordering something a year in advance. You know you're going to have to wait for something because it doesn't exist in the world yet. You're putting money in to make sure that you get a copy when it does exist, but you know it's 9 months, 10 months, a year off. I think people are pretty good at doing that if you tell them up front, hey, it's going to be a year before the release date. Vinegar Syndrome pre-orders are the other kind of pre-order. This shit exists in the world. It's already sitting there in the warehouse. The nice thing about Vinegar Syndrome, in my opinion, is they don't announce shit 3 or 4 months in advance like Arrow and Criterion all do. They let you know what's coming out in March, in April. We'll know what's coming out in April in a couple of weeks. I don't know. That's kind of silly, in my opinion. It's kind of nice that when Vinegar Syndrome says, hey, this is the shit that's coming out. It's like, oh, okay, I can order this right now. And they're going to just fucking send it to me. Waiting, I think 6 or 7 weeks, well, it's kind of a long time. I got to give the guy on online credit. It's kind of a long time to wait. I'm gonna fucking tell you what I'm gonna do now. I'm in Maine. I'm gonna drive my happy ass down to fucking Connecticut. We did a weekend at a ski resort on Black Friday weekend this past year in 2024. But I tell you what we're doing. We're gonna go to fucking Connecticut. We're gonna do fucking Black Friday in Connecticut this year. I'm taking the fam down. We're gonna go do Thanksgiving in Connecticut, and I'm getting up Black Friday morning. I'm gonna say, fuck you kids, go eat your fucking fruity pebbles. I'm going to the fucking archive, motherfucker. I'm about to pick that shit up live and in person. I'm gonna put my ski mask on. I'm gonna fucking bring my semi-automatic 12 gauge. I got a semi-automatic shotgun. Ooh, wait. I'm not really gonna rob the archive. That would be silly. I do want to ask you, what is the longest you're willing to wait? And do you think that this negatively impacts Vinegar Syndrome sales? I mean, all things being equal, I'm sure you would love to get your shit in 2 weeks instead of 6 or 7. I think Amazon and other larger retailers have trained us to expect shit in 4 or 5 days, maybe a week tops. I mean, I think when the average is 5 to 7 days and Vinegar Syndrome takes 5 to 7 weeks, I think people are kind of conditioned to expect a little bit quicker. And I think it probably does negatively impact Vinegar Syndrome sales because if you've got a alternative, you might pursue the alternative. I might go to Bull Moose. Oftentimes, Bull Moose even beats Vinegar Syndrome's website on new priced items, not the sales shit for $10, but on new priced items, they got Vinegar Syndrome beat by a couple of bucks. I think I got rid of a fire for like $26 at, and that's with the slipcase and everything. That's with all the shit, all the fancy shit at Bull Moose. So you know, even I'm thinking what I can do to get these movies without having to deal with Vinegar Syndrome shipping. And like I said, I've been pretty patient about the whole thing. So I'd be happy to know what you guys think. Also, you stuck around this long looking at the titties. I know you weren't paying attention to anything I said, but I also promised you guys shit talk about other physical media YouTubers, right? Like less yappity yap about Blu-rays and more like talking shit about other motherfuckers. So in a recent video, Slipcover Steve ended his video with about a minute of his pet cat, and I thought, dude's just trying to show us that he's got a fatter, hairier pussy than movies ensue. Thank you guys for watching. Peace, motherfuckers.